Morning, Botai. Now with Tisha B'Av behind us, there are several takanot that the Chachamim made in order to commemorate the Churban Bet HaMikdash, which we call Zecher LaChurban. The Rif, Rambam, Rosh, Shulchan Aruch, and Siman Tav Kuf Samach, they all bring down that there is a minhag, that by a wedding, we do something in order to commemorate the Churban Bet HaMikdash based on a pasuk in the Navi Yeshaya Samach Aleph. The Navi says, we read it on by Minchav Tisha B'Av, Lasum le'avelet Tzion, latet lahem pe'er tachat efer. That what? For the mourners of Tzion, they will be given pe'er, which is a crown, instead of ash. Because of that, the Shulchan Aruch brings down that the minhag is that a chatan, biyom chatunato, biyom simchat libo, on the day of his wedding, this is a custom that's still followed by Ashkenazim, they take a little ash, a little efer, and they put it on his head in the place where the tefillin is put on the head, and that is to be mekayim, the pasuk, since we have ash on our head, eventually he's going to have a crown on his head too, but that is a minhag, lezecher churban bet HaMikdash. So that is what Ashkenazim still follow. The Maran Bet Yosef brings down in the name of the Kolbo that there are some communities that don't follow this minhag, and the reason for that is that we are concerned that sometimes the chatan's tefillin might be pasul. As a result, putting pe'er tachat efer, which means when you put ash in the place of tefillin, if the tefillin is pasul, just like he wasn't mekayim, putting ash in the place of glory, which the tefillin is considered glory, he also won't have the bracha of the eventual glory substituting as ash, and therefore he says some communities don't do it. And that seems to be the minhag Sfaradim. We don't have this minhag anymore. We have an alternate minhag that's brought down by the Rishonim, which is to break glass under the chuppah, also zecher lachurban. When a glass is broken, that's supposed to startle people. Say, wow, that's a reference to the Churban Bet HaMikdash, which was also broken. Rabbi Yosef Tarani brings in a Sefer Tzafnaf Va'aneach, why is it that we break specifically glass under the chuppah as opposed to anything else? He writes, interesting, just like glass, after it's broken, you can collect the glass and then melt it down and then reform it. You can create something new from broken glass. So too, the Bet HaMikdash, also, even though it's broken, it's a remez, it's a hint that one day the Bet HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt from the broken shards. However, although that seems to be our minhag, Maran Zichron Bracha points out that it seems that by chuppot today, this minhag sometimes goes terribly wrong. First of all, sometimes you see the chatan is like a child. He tries to break the glass with all of his might, mamash like an infant. That's not the point of the minhag. Supposed to break it, zecher lachurban, to have a sort of seriousness involved. Also, right before we break it, we say the pasuk, Im eshkachech Yerushalayim, tishkach yemini. Okay. Another thing, which is a terrible, terrible minhag, is that people, right after the glass is broken, the music starts booming right away, and people, mazal tov. It's as if, chas v'shalom, people are celebrating the Churban Bet HaMikdash. Mazal tov to the Churban. Yeah? How wonderful. Ela, la'alacha, person should take a moment. The point of breaking the glass is to startle people. Say, wow, stop and think for a moment that we are, like we say in the pasuk, Im lo a'ale et Yerushalayim al rosh simchati. We, at the peak of our joy, we have to remember the Churban Bet HaMikdash. Stop and think for a moment, and only then, after people have had a chance to absorb, then you start the music and you start singing lichvod achatan v'akala. But otherwise, the optics are very, very bad. So hopefully, wherever a person can, to try to change, again, that's also a very, very uncouth minhag, wherever a person can, to try to change it, it would be matov u'mana'im. Have a wonderful day.